Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from the Daily Signal dated April 22nd. It says how climate activists are actually harming the environment. And you've seen this a lot where you see these guys do stuff like this, these very cultish people, and in the year of fossil fuels, you guys don't know what's going to happen if that actually does happen, if your wishes come true. You are not ready for that. But there's always been like this undercurrent of like, do these people actually know what they're doing and like how they're affecting things? The answer is no, but let's go ahead and check it out. It says, since the first Earth Day in 1970, the United States has become a leader in protecting the environment and the preservation of nature. Most don't know this, it isn't taught in schools, and the media leads us to believe the opposite. It says nearly everywhere, our air, lakes, rivers, and streams are far cleaner than they were in 1970. No more smog clouds over Los Angeles and other cities. The Cuyahoga River in Ohio doesn't catch fire from pollution. Did it really? Jesus, I thought that was Lake Erie. Is the Cuyahoga River like spun off of Lake Erie or something? I don't know. And Fox River in Wisconsin, home of 26 paper companies, now has fish that are edible and water that is swimmable. Well, that's always good. But there is more work to do. Of course there is. There always is. Unfortunately, the climatistas, like the Marxist Sandinistas, I figured that's where they were getting that word from right off the bat. It says, have hijacked the environmental movement. They have imposed their green, ever-expanding agenda on our nation. Using tax subsidies, laws, and regulations they have lobbied for, sued for, and demonstrated for, they have forced their ideology onto regular Americans and our environment, harming everyday people. They support wind, solar, and electric cars no matter the cost, which will end 80% of our prosperity, given that most of our energy comes from oil, coal, and natural gas. And it's not just the energy, like just the products that you use every day, especially like with oil. Okay, like you won't have cell phones anymore, people. And you know, those folks probably couldn't live without their iPhone or their Android. But seriously, it's 80% of our prosperity. You're willing to get rid of that because you think you think something's going to happen to the Earth. Okay. It says, never mind the millions of birds, thousands of rare birds and eagles, and endangered bats killed by 90,000 wind turbines spread across our country. Yep, that is certainly the case. And how about the whales, too, in the ocean? I wonder if they are. I haven't actually read this article, so I don't know if it says anything about that. It doesn't look like it. I'm just kind of scanning it as I'm talking. Maybe it does. But yeah, I mean, you see there's whales all the time that are dying off the coast, like the East Coast as well, it's because these wind turbines are effing them up. So it says, to do what the climatistas want, we'll have to pay for an additional 400,000 wind turbines. Meanwhile, a Harvard study tells us that building that many wind turbines will warm U.S. temperatures, which I don't think that's what they wanted. It says, never mind the sudden alarming spike in whale... Oh, there it is. I totally missed those words. So it says, never mind the sudden alarming spike in whale and dolphin deaths that coincide with the construction of offshore wind turbines with electricity that is at least 5 times more expensive to produce than electricity derived from natural gas, as well as the destruction of thousands of miles of natural habitat for rare animals and prime farmland taken out of production by solar panel installations. This never mind the polluted rivers, lakes, and waterways caused by the mining and process of lithium and cobalt for electric cars and electric grid batteries, or the chemicals and acids that China dumps into the environment processing them, or the coal China burns making them. China gets 56% of all its energy from coal and is building hundreds of new coal plants, while India gets 75% from coal. And the climate people, like, if you're actually serious, those are the 2 countries you need to go after. Okay, you're in the wrong place right now. Okay, like nothing's going to change the way you want it unless you go after them. Okay, so you're fighting with the wrong people. It says, what's more, electric cars take 5 to 7 years to break even on carbon dioxide emissions compared to gas cars that last 20 years or longer, while batteries cost $10,000 to $30,000 and will need to be replaced or will have limited range and charging issues throughout their lifetimes. I don't know anything about cars, number one, certainly not electric cars, but I have actually heard that about the batteries, that they are extremely expensive, and I did not know how that expensive. And what is my car? If I was to get a new battery, and knock on wood that happens, but it's a couple $100. You're telling me $10,000 to $30,000? Like, Jesus H. Better have a warranty. Says, never mind the trillions in borrowed taxpayer subsidies causing inflation, of which wind and solar get an astounding 50% subsidy while just adding more cost to our electricity rates. Adding wind and solar to our electricity mix will make rates skyrocket, just as Barack Obama told us they would. We only got one thing right, at least. It says Germany, Denmark, and the United Kingdom users pay 4 times the average of American rates, and California pays double. Of course, it's California, that's the problem there. It says, all because they keep adding wind, solar, batteries, and ever more transmission wires, causing their rates to climb faster while the reliability of their electricity sources has tanked. Should be climb, not climbing faster. Anyway, enough of my grammar Nazi stuff. Electric users are catching on to how the climatistas and their corporate and media minions have been lying to them. Say electric users? How about electric car users? I don't know. Anyway, says never mind that the climatistas want to control what you eat and how you live. Go vegan, eat bugs instead of meat. Yeah, I'm never doing that. Says live in 15-minute cities and pay a fine if you drive out of the area more than 100 times a year. Yes, communism is great, guys. Absolutely, let's totally go for that. Says what if your job, school, or childcare is outside of the border of these cities, where you move, or get a new job, or transfer to a new school? Think of the surveillance needed to track your movements. Says they want to make flying more expensive and to limit your plane flights. Again, communism's great. To once every 3 years. Yeah, I'm not. No, that's anti-freedom. Says even your dog is bad for the climate. Yeah, I've heard them talk about this. Like you need to get rid of your dog. Yeah, you can eat my nuts. Says dogs and cats eat and breathe besides being beloved family members. Says if the climatistas get control, they will do what all totalitarian regimes do: control the people. Says violence, environmental decay, and societal and economic rot will set in. It always looks glorious when they are selling you the green dream until it becomes our nightmare. It is time for real environmentalists, grown-ups with a clear vision, to take back their movement from the climatistas and their singular focus on the circle of life required plant food that is known as CO2. Each of us exhale about 700 pounds of CO2 a year, more if you are a runner or more physically active, and we must breathe in trace amounts of CO2 or we die. Could we humans actually be the carbon they want to reduce? Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? And the answer to that is actually yes. We very much are the carbon they want to reduce. That is their goal, and I think they're just going to try to do anything they can to actually make that happen. It seems like they're on their way. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.